Hello everyone, today I am thrifting for vintage Christmas decor in Palm Springs, California. If you've been around for pretty much any length of time, you guys know by now how much I love Palm Springs, and although it is nearly 90 degrees here this week, I am still in that Christmas spirit. I grew up coming here for Christmas to visit family, so Palm Springs actually puts me in that Christmassy mood, and I thought it would be the best place to go shopping for some nostalgic vintage Christmas decor. Let's see what we can find. I am starting at quite possibly my most favorite thrift store I've ever been to. It's called Foss in La Quinta, California. You may recognize it from some of my previous thrifting in Palm Springs videos. It's a store that's separated into 3 different storefronts, all of which are packed to the ceiling with vintage goods. When I picture vintage Christmas decor, I picture a color palette of rich reds, true greens, metallic gold, and tinsel silver. To me, the vintage Christmas vibe feels really inviting and cozy, cheerful, and a little bit kitschy in the best way possible. In my Ralph Lauren Thrift Miss video, I thrifted a set of 6 hand-woven Christmas placemats for my Etsy shop, and they sold almost immediately, so I was drawn to this set of 8 placemats, but every single one of them was stained. If a colorful Christmas palette isn't really your thing, but you still want that collected over time vintage vibe, look for decor and dishware in brass, silver, or even crystal. These materials add a fun and festive nostalgic feeling without relying on bold colors like green and red. After spending nearly an hour at Foss, I walked across the parking lot to Angel View to see what their vintage Christmas selection was like. And while they didn't have a dedicated holiday section like a lot of thrift stores in my area back at home, they did seem to have a few vintage Christmas pieces sprinkled throughout the shelves. Since thrifting that holly trimmed tablecloth in my Ralph Lauren Christmas video, I am very drawn to this pattern and I'm seeing it a lot on dishware. If holiday specific dishware doesn't feel like a practical investment for you, consider a vintage set of gold rimmed dinner plates like this. They're a timeless foundation piece for nearly any special occasion, and when layered over a gold charger like this, they can create a really elegant vintage Christmas look without having to commit to a full themed set like poinsettias or snowmen. While I'm in the neighborhood, I'm going to visit the Goodwill next door to see what their Christmas selection is like.
this is pretty much the extent of the Christmas decor. So for fun, let's take a peek at the clothing and see if they have any ugly Christmas sweaters or anything. Not gonna lie, I was in awe of some of these vintage clothing pieces, and it got me wondering, do you guys shop for vintage clothing on sites like Etsy, whether it's Christmas related or not? I love finding special pieces like these at the thrift store, but I definitely don't need them all for myself, so I'm always debating whether I should start adding vintage clothing to my Etsy shop or not. Let me know in the comments. Next, I'm going to head to Revivals to see what they have in the way of vintage Christmas decor, and then I will end at the Sunny Dunes Antique Mall. Sunny Dunes is a well-known antique mall in the heart of Palm Springs, but I didn't even know about it until a viewer mentioned it on one of my previous Palm Springs thrifting videos. And once I looked it up, I knew I had to visit, and wow, you guys, this place is packed with vintage treasures. I could have spent hours here, but since I was on the hunt for vintage Christmas decor, that helped keep me focused. And while I personally prefer thrift stores, antique malls are great if you don't enjoy the digging required at thrift stores to uncover those hidden gems, and if you don't mind paying a slightly higher price tag for them.
Okay, I seriously loved walking through Foss. I know to some people it probably seems so cluttered, but it is like my favorite place on earth. I literally have dreams where I am walking through this like overstuffed thrift store. I don't know what's wrong with me, but I loved walking through there. They by far had the biggest selection of Christmas decor out of all the stores that I visited here in Palm Springs. I think I went to 8 thrift stores total, and most of them had like maybe one little shelf of some Christmas decor. So Foss is definitely the place to go if you are looking for vintage Christmas pieces. Let me show you what I got. So this sweater I saw at Goodwill, which is right next to the Foss, or in the same parking lot. And it is vintage. It's like a cute little vintage ski sweater, Oregon Trail brand, and it is so cute. I'm gonna put this in my Etsy store because it's so beautiful. I feel like you could pull it off for an ugly Christmas sweater party, but also it's like classic and almost Ralph Lauren style Christmas. So it just doesn't fit me. Otherwise I would keep it. But how cute is this? And then it has these navy blue sleeves, and the bottom edge of the sweater is also got a strip of navy. I actually did buy some other things when I was out today, but you're gonna have to wait until my next video to see my haul and everything else that I got. So some of the pieces that I got today could be technically holiday, but also year-round, not like specifically Christmas stuff. I have to be choosy, obviously. Although I did pack an extra suitcase this time, I do still have to be choosy about what I bring home. Couldn't bring home a bunch of breakables because you know they throw those suitcases around at the airport. So I'm not interested in bringing home anything that's just gonna break on the way there. Stick around for my next video and I will show you every single thing that I got at all 8 thrift stores that I visited while I was here in Palm Springs. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video.